The rain had been falling since dawn, drumming against the tin roofs of the small Vietnamese countryside homes, soaking the earth until it released its rich, earthy fragrance. For most, it was just another rainy morning. But inside a modest wooden house, the rain seemed to echo a question hanging heavy in the air. After everything, will James and Deep truly walk together into a wedding that seals their love forever? For years, their story had been one of trials, separation, betrayal, silence, and scars left behind by power struggles. Yet against all odds, they were reunited. And now, with hearts trembling, the world waited to see whether their promises would finally turn into vows. Quiet moments, hidden longing. Inside, Deep moved about her daily chores. At her side was little Nay, a bright-eyed 3-year-old whose innocent laughter softened the edges of Deep's solitude. They spent the morning in the simplest of routines, picking vegetables from the garden, feeding the chickens, cooking rice together. These moments carried a fragile peace, yet in Deep's heart lingered an unspoken ache. James had called earlier, his voice warm yet distant. He told her he couldn't return for a few more days, business and paperwork, he said. She believed him, though disappointment flickered in her chest. What she didn't know was that at that very hour, James had already landed at Noi Bai Airport. A surprise in the rain. Determined to surprise her, James stopped along the road as rain lashed against the car windows. He wandered into a small clothing shop, carefully selecting tiny dresses and a soft little hat for Nay. At a flower stall nearby, he chose a bouquet bursting with color, vivid and alive, a symbol of the love he was ready to declare again. When James finally arrived at Deep's home, he stood drenched on the threshold, arms full of gifts. Deep froze. Only hours before, he had sworn he would be away for days. Now he was here, smiling despite the storm. Nay squealed with delight as James knelt down, handing her the clothes and hat. Her laughter filled the small home, brightening the gloomy day. Deep's eyes softened, and though she tried to hide it, tears welled. She had missed him more deeply than she dared to admit. In that moment, the little house felt like a family home already, warmth, laughter, and quiet tenderness filling every corner. But beneath it all, a heavier question pulsed. What future awaited them? Love against the world. James, once a powerful CEO entangled in scandal and betrayal, now sat at Deep's humble table. He reached for her hand, his voice low and steady. "Deep," he said, "I came back not only because I missed you. I want us to walk forward, no matter what storms come. I want the world to know you are mine." Her heart pounded. A grand wedding would mean stepping into his world, a world of judgmental whispers, ambitious rivals, and the piercing expectations of his wealthy family. She hesitated, torn between love and fear, but in his eyes, she didn't see ambition alone. She saw devotion. Through the open window, the scent of blossoms drifted in as Nay laughed in the background. In that moment, Deep realized happiness did not lie in the size of a wedding, but in the courage of two hearts to stand together. Still, the question lingered. Would they dare a public celebration, or keep their promise private? A life imagined. That evening, under the glow of a single lamp, James watched Deep clear the dishes. Her calloused yet delicate hands told the story of a life rooted in soil. He imagined a future of simple joys, her at his side, a child's laughter filling the house. Breaking the silence, Deep asked, "Why did you really come back early? Not just to surprise me, right?" James leaned forward, serious now. "You're right. There's trouble with the company." "Investors are pulling out. I didn't want to tell you over the phone. I needed to see you first." Her chest tightened. Memories of his past collapse, betrayals, and sleepless nights rushed back. Yet instead of retreating, she reached across the table, steady and strong. "You don't have to fight alone anymore," she said. "I'm here. Whatever storm comes, I'll stand with you." Her words sank deeper than any fortune or success. James's resolve hardened. The question that could change everything. Taking her hand firmly, he spoke again. "Deep, I want us to build something bigger than a company. I want a life with you." A wedding, not small, not hidden. A wedding where everyone sees us together. Will you stand with me, no matter what people say? The question hovered, heavy as the rain outside. Deep lowered her gaze, torn by doubt. To marry James publicly meant becoming a target. Judgment from society, whispers about her humble roots, rivals ready to use her against him. But when she lifted her eyes, they glistened with clarity. "James," she said softly, "I don't need a big wedding to know I belong with you." "But if a grand wedding shows the world we're unbreakable, then yes, I'll do it." Relief washed over him. His rare smile lit up the room. For the first time in a long while, hope rose within him, not only for his crumbling business, but for the love that storms could never erase. Shadows gathering. Yet beyond their quiet house, not everyone celebrated their reunion. In the city, old rivals stirred. John, the man who once betrayed James, was weaving his web again. Investors grew nervous. Whispers multiplied. Morning sunlight broke through the storm clouds, the fields outside glittering with dew. James woke not to the buzz of meetings but to the sound of deep humming gently in the kitchen. Watching her in the golden light, he thought, this was the treasure he had been searching for all his life. But even as he embraced her, his phone buzzed sharply. Urgent messages. John was back, making moves. The battle was only beginning. Love's true test. That morning, as they walked the wet fields hand in hand with little Nay laughing beside them, James and Deep held to the fragile peace they had found. They knew the trials ahead would test not only James's strength, but the bond of their love. The wedding question still hung in the air, half promise, half challenge. Would they walk into the light together, or would the shadows pull them apart once more? James and Deep's story reminds us, love is not defined by wealth, grandeur, or appearances. True love is tested in storms. It is built on loyalty, trust, and the courage to face the world together.